You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on the Mo Kelly Show, it's Tiffany Hobbs, the viral load.
She'll speak of all the viral things social media can bring.
Facebook, Insta, X, TikTok, the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs. Viral load, viral load, the viral load. Viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's now time for the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
Let's do it. And you guys have been talking a lot tonight about viral stories. I was listening. I am a fan of the Mo Kelly Show. And so I heard you talking about all things viral. These stories are a bit of a diversion from the current political juggernaut that is the Democratic National Convention. So let's get into it. The first one is a social media post that is going viral. And here's the thing. It actually happens to have originated a couple of months ago. We have a few stories tonight that aren't necessarily current, but are seeing kind of relevance now because of how social media works. This story specifically claims, sadly, that a deceased Pennsylvania father is missing months after his death. Here's the deal. There's a man, his name is Brian Posh. He was 36, and he was found dead inside of his submerged truck back in April of this year. This happened in the Brighton Township area, and the police department did all of the reconnaissance, found out what happened, and on April 5th, they were able to determine what actually caused Brian Posh's death. After that unfortunate incident, that picture of Brian Posh that went viral at the time that he had died because of the unfortunate circumstances started to take off again. The picture has been posted numerous times, thousands of times across social media. And what's happening is the current captions are saying that there's a man, and they use different names. And they're saying that this man by this name with this same picture is currently missing. And they're assigning different causes to his apparent missing status or the conditions of what's going on with him. What's also happening is that there are crowdfunding sites that are being used to capitalize off of this scam, and people are asking for money to support this family, this phantom family. So all these things are being assigned to this picture that originated back in April 9th due to a very and real unfortunate incident. And it really shows how damaging and dangerous social media can be, because when you see a picture, you see a story, if you don't have that media literacy, you don't really know just how real and true the story is.
People don't care. They're not trying to be accurate.
And the problem with accuracy is that it can, again, open people up to scams and money laundering and fraud. And people have been putting money into these various crowdfunding websites in hopes of supporting these people or this person they think is still missing or whatever the unfortunate circumstance is attached to the picture. His family is also being re-victimized over and over again because they're seeing their loved one's picture plastered all over social media. So they've spoken out. Various social media users have spoken out about it. But unfortunately, as virality goes, these sorts of posts don't go away. The next story is a lot more positive. It deals with a Louisville teenager who was caught doing something very ordinary, very mundane. This young man, Thaddeus Mason, a Louisville native and a student of the Jefferson County Public School System, was just walking out of a library one day. He was wearing an orange outfit. He was walking down the street on the side of cars, and he was holding a book. Unbeknownst to him, someone snapped a picture of Thaddeus and posted the picture with a caption that read, "You definitely don't see this every day. A very rare sighting of a youngin' just walking and reading a book." That photo was shared all over social media.
Wait, a person reading now went viral. What is this? What is this, like the movie Demolition Man, where they don't know what toilet paper is or something?
That's exactly what it's like. The fact that this, again, very ordinary, very mundane, very usual act of reading a book would go viral just really shows you how skewed reality is. And I imagine that the original poster, feels that teenagers don't necessarily read books like that, or he doesn't necessarily see teenagers walking down the street engaging in just normal reading activities. Maybe they're always on their cell phones or some sort of technology, and he felt the need to share it on social media. And because so many people agreed with his caption, the photo itself went viral thousands of times over. Thaddeus himself, and this is where it became a little concerning to me, Thaddeus said himself, "I did not know who took the picture of me. I was walking down the street. I was just walking down the street reading a book." And then someone showed him the picture, and now he knows as well that he is a viral sensation. But I wonder about his privacy. There are lots of implications being made about his orange outfit, his race, all sorts of things. So it's problematic on many ends, and also, I guess, somewhat refreshing to see a young person reading a book.
One thing I would pull out of this is, I tell young people all the time, there's somebody always watching. When I say somebody, it could be a camera, it could be a person just viewing you and observing you, watching you, thinking that either you're going to get into trouble or something like that. There's somebody who's always watching. This is a perfect example of that. Now, the young man was just reading a book, but I'm quite sure any other time he was being watched as well. Just it might have had a different result, or a different assumption was being made.
Absolutely. And again, you never know what people are going to do with what they observe of you. And in this case, a picture was taken, and now he is all around the world. The next story we're going to skip to, it's a shorter story, because that story, when we come back, is so meaty. So this next story is a gag. It's a joke, and it's hilarious. There's the Guggenheim Museum in New York. It's a museum of art, abstract art, installations, all sorts of things. And last week, a visitor at the Guggenheim Museum pulled a stunt that really exposes just how naive audience members can possibly be, or attendees to the museum might be. The visitor discreetly removed one of their shoes. The shoe was a white, kind of dirty white Chuck Taylor All-Star sneaker. Familiar, Mo?
I'm familiar. I had a bunch of pairs of them.
Chucks. Who isn't? Well, the user took the shoe off and put it just kind of against a wall, a blank wall, and just left the shoe there. Then the person stood back, watched people walk by, and watched them observe this shoe, this isolated shoe, from a secret area of this particular room in the museum. While watching people, the person observed that the audience was kind of, chattering about the shoe, making observations about the color and the laces. Basically, the audience thought that the shoe itself was an art installation or some sort of piece that belonged in the Guggenheim. Yeah. I know. And then the person with the shoeless gag.
Was it roped off?
No, it wasn't even roped off. It was just out in the open. And so people, again, are that naive that they thought it was something legit. The person took a picture, of course, took video, uploaded it to various social media platforms where it went viral because, again, it showed just how naive we can be when we're at these museums.
When we come back, the second portion of the Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs, and there's a movie tie-in to it. She doesn't know it, but I'm quite sure Mark Ronner knows it. We'll tell you about it in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now it's time for the Viral Load with Tiffany. Live on KFI's Later with Mo Kelly. She'll talk about the topics on social media. The Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640. Later with Mo Kelly. Tiffany, take it away.
Mo, do you know what demure means?
I got one better for you. Mark Ronner If I said demure to you, what likely comes to mind?
There are a couple meanings. Pardon me, I'm eating.
Oh, okay. Well,
not very demure, Mark.
Let me take this. Whenever I hear demure, I think about the only reference point there is to demure, and there's a cinematic tie-in. And so I know demure was the breaking out on social media. I just assumed it had to do with Total Recall.
I'll be asking you some questions, Doug, so we can fine-tune the ego program. You answer honestly, you'll enjoy yourself a whole lot more. Your sexual orientation.
Hetero.
So, how do you like your women? Blonde? Brunette? Redhead?
Brunette.
Slim? Athletic? Voluptuous?
Athletic.
Demure? Aggressive? Sleazy? Be honest?
Sleazy. Demure.
I've never heard the word used in any other context in life.
Until now, because the word demure has gone completely viral. It is probably, besides these national conventions, one of the biggest viral stories of all across social media. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about a social media user by the name of Jules LeBron, who has popularized the phrase in a series of videos.
Time now for What to Watch. We're apparently going to go through the meaning of the word demure. Is that what's happening?
This is what's happening. You guys have been asking me about this all morning long. In the stories that we share on What to Watch, we try to be very demure, very mindful, and very knowledgeable. We try to make sure our audience understands what's happening on TikTok, on social media. So this is what is happening right now. Watch this, folks.
You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. See how I look very presentable? A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma. Not demure. I'm very...
Yes.
So that is the origin of this viral sensation.
Yes.
Not Total Recall.
Not Total Recall.
Demure.
Not Arnold.
Not Arnold.
Okay.
But I'm sure he would appreciate how the word has taken on new meaning. So Jules LeBron is a very popular kind of lifestyle social media user. She gives tips on makeup. She is a motivational speaker online. She helps anyone navigate their personal struggles because she's very transparent about her own. And actually, producer Lindsay is very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I've actually been
very
following
knowledgeable
her for even before like she blew up, like when she was just doing small stuff on TikTok.
Who is this? I thought it was like LeBron James's cousin or something.
No.
Maybe it's Jules Verne's cousin.
Not quite.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, no relation?
Not that we know of, but I'm not sure because at this point, everyone knows who she is, from Jennifer Lopez to different beauty brands.
I don't know what that means.
Your favorite, Jennifer Lopez, and everything in between. So the TikToker, she blew up on TikTok, uses terms to describe the level of appropriateness for makeup and fashion choices in a variety of settings. And like you heard in that clip, Jules LeBron is talking about how people dress when they go to work or go to interviews. And she uses very mindful, very demure, very knowledgeable. That word demure was taken out and now applied to many different situations across social media where people are using the word wrong. And this is where the story goes viral because it originates here, but now demure is being used to describe your water bottle or to describe your car or anything that you want to give some sort of personification to. And as of this time, that TikTok video has over 35 million views. 35 million. So you guys were talking about Beyonce and Taylor Swift showing up tomorrow at the Democratic National Convention. Don't be surprised if Jules LeBron somehow makes some sort of appearance or there's some reference to very demure.
Oh, you're calling your shot.
I'm calling my shot.
Very demure.
I think she lives in Chicago, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Demure.
Even better. So we might see this take on political legs because she's been tapped to be everywhere. And as of this time, the major interest that she sparked, we don't know what she's partnering with or who she's partnering with, but expect to see a lot more of Jules LeBron in the very near future. She's very demure. She's very cutesy. She's very knowledgeable, Mo.
How does knowledgeable get in there? Is that like an additional modifier, or is that supposed to be part of the definition of demure?
Mo, don't question Jules LeBron. That's not very demure.
It doesn't make sense. Words have meanings.
We're moving along. We're going to be demure and very knowledgeable.
Demure.
Very demure.
Thank you, Arnold.
I have one last kind of fourth quarter story to throw in, and it does have to do with the national convention. If you noticed on Monday that people were wearing cowboy hats in the crowd, there was a photo that went viral of a big section of the national convention of attendees wearing cowboy hats. They were bedazzled, they were glittery, they were all different colors, and that is a direct correlation to Beyonce.
I thought so.
And her latest album, yes, because the representative from Texas who was there is a huge fan of Beyonce and said that she wanted all of her supporters to wear cowboy hats in homage to Beyonce. So when you see these cowboy hats, that's what that is.
I don't see a world where the DNC would miss this moment. They would not have Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I would be disappointed from a political strategist standpoint where they left that on the table and didn't seize that moment.
It would be very unknowledgeable and very not demure.
Very demure.
Demure.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI.
Not very demure of you, Mark Ronner.
AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Oh, later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Technology is moving so fast, so fast. It's Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. Have you ever been online? Of course you've been online, but have you ever gotten into a chat and you had to pause for a moment? You're asking for help and the chat bot will come up and it's like, am I talking to a person? Is there an actual person helping me? Or is it a chat bot with limited responses and it's scripted where it can only say, one of 5 things in answering questions? And you realize, oh, this is a chat bot. Well, they're getting a lot better. So much so that it's almost indistinguishable in an online sense. And a group of 32 researchers from OpenAI, Microsoft, Harvard, and other institutions are calling on technologists and policymakers to develop new ways to verify humans without sacrificing people's privacy or anonymity. I'm sorry, but whenever I see news stories, I either think of a corresponding commercial or a corresponding movie. And the moment I saw this story, I thought of this commercial.
Discover customer service. This is Maya.
Oh, hi, Maya. You robots are sounding more human every day.
Oh, I am human.
It's like I'm talking to a human.
At Discover, everyone can talk to a human representative.
All right, prove it.
Wait, are you a robot?
Oh. How would I prove that I'm not?
24/7 U.S.-based customer service.
Do you feel like a robot?
It pays to Discover.
Everybody's seen that commercial. It's a big Super Bowl commercial, but it relates back to this story of how researchers want some sort of protocol set in place so we know if and when that we're dealing with actual robots. Now, there's also a cinematic tie-in, and I know Mark Ronner knows this one. If you think of maybe Philip K. Dick and the short story of Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep? What
Androids.
Is it? Androids, that's right. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the source material for Blade Runner. This is like, is it life imitating art or art imitating life? Where now we're having these serious discussions of making sure that we can identify, science from the fiction.
So I've been apartment hunting, and one of the things that I do in the meantime is I read reviews about the apartment complex. And in one of the apartments I was looking at, you email back and forth to schedule tours and so on. Well, I found out that who I was emailing with was a virtual assistant. And the virtual assistant is so lifelike that I didn't know until I happened to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the email and get to the signature where there was a very tiny print that said that it was a virtual assistant. Now, I went online and I'm reading reviews. People online were just upset with this virtual assistant and arguing about how the virtual assistant was rude because they thought it was a real person. Oh, this person is so rude and they're not responding, or that they don't, this, that, and the third. But it was indistinguishable whether or not it was the virtual assistant or a real person. I happen to know because I did the investigative work, which I didn't have to do. I happened upon it. But for so many, they thought they were talking to a live person.
The technology is way beyond what any of us could even imagine. 6 years ago, and I know I talked about this before, 6 years ago, Google was debuting a version of their AI assistant, which could call businesses and make reservations on your behalf. Listen to this.
Assistant. As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. We are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you.
6 years ago.
Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have at 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That demonstration was in 2018. There's no telling where we are now in 2024.
Yeah, that always blows my mind. And who showed me that clip when it came out was my dad. And he was like, where are we headed? This is insane. And I think there's another one. I thought you were going to play the other one where I think they call a Chinese restaurant.
Yes.
We could barely understand, but the AI was able to pick up everything, switch the appointment. But I love that.
Right. Just the little inflections of natural language that we have. So we probably have been fooled dozens of times. We just don't know. We weren't expecting it. We weren't savvy enough to identify it. But, look, all we need now is the full body, and we can have sex bots.
Mo, I want you to take a Voight Kampf test at the end of the show to prove you're human.
What's the difference between that and a Turing test?
Well, one's more entertaining, and you get blown to Kingdom Come at the end of it, based on the movie that we all know.
Okay, well, there are plenty of movies which we could insert into this discussion, and if you want to see a great movie on this particular discussion, you have to see Ex Machina.
Oh, that's really good. That's an Alex Garland movie. He's the guy who made that Civil War movie we both liked.
Yep. Ex Machina deals with the idea of whether AI in the physical form is self-aware and what tests we would administer to be able to discern whether the robot is sentient. has a consciousness all its own. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you because there's a great ending on that movie.
Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing, and it's a little lower key than maybe what we're used to from him, but it's brilliant.
And it stars Oscar Isaac, and what was the guy from Star Wars?
Oh, Domhnall Gleeson. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I'm never sure how to pronounce his first name.
Yeah, I just say Dom Hall.
Okay.
It's either right or wrong. Sure. It's one of the two. But Ex Machina, highly recommend. And yeah, we're going to have to get to that point where we do get the personhood credentials, where people prove offline that they physically exist as humans, and we can receive an encrypted credential that they can use to log in for a wide range of online services. Because imagine this, if they can mimic people's voices, and they can do it well enough where it sounds fluid and natural, and they can, what's to stop them taking your voice and your information that they can gather in the ether, because they have data breaches everywhere, and then call your credit card company or call your bank as you and provide the information that they've stolen about you? That's the future. I should say that's the now.
Well, the rule is that whatever the worst possible thing you can imagine being done with technology, it's going to get done. And it will be done. There's no question about that. You can call it Mark's Law if you want.
Mark's Law?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Okay.
All right. It's Later with Mo Kelly. How long did you take to think that up?
That was a throwaway. You can have it.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Okay. Before we get out of here, got to remind you, Later with Mo Kelly is available anywhere. Of course, you can get it on the iHeartRadio app, but we also now are on YouTube. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you want to hear this great show. Thanks to Tawala Sharp, because he puts in a lot of work during the show and after the show to make it bite-sized and easily listenable, no commercials. And you can enjoy it just about anywhere you get podcasts. So YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Where do you get your podcast, Mark?
I have a podcast app on my phone and on my iPad, and I listen to them pretty frequently.
Well, it's there as well.
Thank you.
Tiffany, where do you get your podcasts?
On the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, well, it's definitely there. Stefan, where do you listen to podcasts? Not where in the house, but on what app?
Podcast app on my phone, and I do use the iHeartRadio app as well.
Okay, what's the podcast app? We need specifics.
It comes on the phone standard because podcasts became such a big thing a long time ago.
Oh, so it's bloatware.
It's literally called podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you're iPhoners. I forgot. Okay. They have an app that's built in to the software called Podcast.
Yep. It's like we're living in the future, Mo.
That's actually one of the reasons, straight up, that's one of the reasons I couldn't stay with Android when I first came out, because I was addicted to podcasts, before it was cool, and they had no way of listening to it. I just had to go online.
They were difficult. Yeah, you had to listen like from the website.
Yeah, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, soon our iPhones will have void conf tests, just so you know. It's right around the corner.
No,
one of those next big announcement meetings, they're going to announce that.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. Lindsay, how do you listen to Later with Mo Kelly?
On the iHeartRadio app.
Company woman.
Said with enthusiasm.
Okay, but I actually listen on Spotify.
There we go. Sorry. You're the one person who listens on Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you can listen to it anywhere and everywhere. And I was thinking, and since Tawala isn't in the room, I'll ask all of you. We're getting ready to go on a cruise, like 10 of my family members and Tawala and his son. We all know he has reservations about the ocean. I was thinking about maybe chronicling the voyage, checking in with him, chronicling when he first walks the gangway onto the ship, like a video journal. Tawala on the open seas.
I would love that, especially since you have YouTube. You can utilize that part of it.
Yeah. I think we're going to do that. He hasn't run in here yet, so I guess he can't hear us talking about it.
Would this be in any way similar to just theoretically recording him if you fell asleep while you were someplace together?
No, I wouldn't do that. This is actually, he would be interacting with me. I'd be getting his thoughts.
Okay, all right. Clarification.
It's not like the Truman Show. It's not going to be voyeuristic.
Okay.
It's like, so what do you think? Are you feeling okay? Is it what you thought, what you expected? And for those who don't know, Tuala's not big on water. Not at all. I mean, I assume he showers, but he doesn't like going out on the water.
I vote that you do a portion of it like the Real World TV series did when they had the confessional rooms, where you just put Tuala in a room and have him just kind of share how he's feeling and then do some voiceovers.
You going to edit all this?
No, but
that's a lot of damn work.
Ironically, give it to Tuala to do.
Exactly.
You want like 4 cameras?
Make it happen.
Special effects?
Make it happen.
Do we have a key grip? Do we have a fluffer? What do you want us to do with this?
Ooh, a fluffer.
Can we say that, Foosh?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can say it.
What kind of cruise is this?
There are sex cruises.
Yeah, it sounds that I've heard of those. That's crazy.
Yeah, there are sex cruises out there.
Pull up.
Don't ask me how I know that, but I'm just saying they exist. I haven't been on one.
So of all the stuff that you can catch on just a regular cruise, multiply that by what on a sex cruise?
Well, from what I understand, that most of the surfaces are covered. It's not like you can just walk around and start bumping uglies anywhere and everywhere.
Services like what? Penicillin? What are you talking about?
Surfaces.
Oh, surfaces.
Not surfaces.
Well, services is a different matter now that, okay.
Had to make it weird.
You put this on me. Don't blame the victim.
Very demure.
Well done. Well done. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.